If you are a Chicago Cubs fan, a Yankees fan, a Red Sox fan, an Indians fan, pretty much if you're a fan of Major League Baseball, you're going to want to watch this video all the way until the end because we have so many deals to break down. There's the arbitration hearings, there's contract extensions, there's so many things happening in baseball right now, so you don't want to miss it. Make sure you guys watch as much as you can. And without further ado, it's time to start talking baseball. Real quick side note, I'm running off about 2 hours of sleep and coffee because I live by myself now and I'm still getting used to the whole being by myself and that there's noises in the house that scare you. So yeah, I was in my bed alone clutching onto a bat because I thought that I was about to get probed by aliens or even taken. Yeah. But that is all besides the point. We're going to go ahead and get into the contract extensions right now. The first two that I want to talk about, really the only two I want to bring up because they're the biggest stars and the biggest names. We have David Peralta. He signed a 3-year deal worth $22 million with the Arizona Diamondbacks. So again, the Diamondbacks, they've signed Madison Bumgarner. They went out and got Cole Calhoun. They've re-signed David Peralta. I think that they're going to be a really good squad. The only thing is they're going to really need Luke Weaver to come back healthy. If they can do that, I think that the Diamondbacks, they can win 80 to 85 games pretty easily.
A drive to left field and deep. A grand slam for Miguel Sano. Oh my. And an 8th inning ambush here in Cleveland.
You guys just saw the clip from Miguel Sano. He just signed a 3-year, $30 million contract extension with the Minnesota Twins. I really can't see this guy playing for any other squad, maybe aside from the Kansas City Royals. Could you imagine Miguel Sano and Jorge Soler in the same lineup, maybe even back-to-back? Yes, that's a lot of strikeouts, but my goodness, that 1-2 punch would be unreal. So now that we have the contract extensions out the way, we have to get into the meat and potatoes of today's video. Salary arbitration. So if you guys have no idea what arbitration is, it's pretty simple once I explain it. So you have player A, let's say it's JT Realmuto, because this is actually happening live right now. You have JT Realmuto offering the Phillies a $12.4 million arbitration salary, but the Phillies are countering with $10 million. So pretty much arbitration is you have JT Realmuto saying that he deserves this money, you have the Phillies saying he deserves this money, and if they can't agree, it has to go to an arbitration hearing, and then other people actually decide who is in the right. Maybe it's JT Realmuto and it's $12.4 million, which in my opinion, I feel like he deserves that. He's the best catcher in baseball, and considering that the Phillies just gave Zach Wheeler a whole lot more than $10 million a year, in my opinion, that's just disrespectful, and it's one of the ways that you can really kind of poison and bloody the water of a player. It's the easiest way to get a guy to hate you. Just like Trevor Bauer, the last couple seasons, he always took the Indians to arbitration, and he said that they disrespected him and everything like that. So in my opinion, I feel like it's worth it just to get the deal done, get JT that $12.4 million and just settle the arbitration. Don't go to a hearing because really, it doesn't do anyone any good. Also, one more note I do want to talk about is that you have to have 3 years of MLB service and no more than 6 years of MLB service. So it's 3 to 6 years. So there's that little window that you can get. So that's why a lot of guys that are young are getting huge contracts. George Springer is one of those guys that's kind of in the middle of a weird arbitration. He is looking for $22.5 million, which is a ton of money, but the Astros only want to give him 17.5. So the two biggest things that we have to take a look at right now is the fact that is JT going to take $10 million or is it going to go to arbitration so we can get his full 12.4 that he wants? Same thing with George Springer. He wants 22.5, which is $5 million more than the Astros think that he's worth. And if we take a look at the other players, in my opinion, they might have some pull in this considering other players are not getting as much. And we're going to talk about that right now. First off, with Kris Bryant.
1-1. That's a third huge home.
Kris Bryant just signed a 1-year deal worth $18.6 million. So the Chicago Cubs and Bryant, they are avoiding arbitration. Thank the baseball gods, because I like Kris Bryant on the Chicago Cubs. Now, the one thing I do want to talk about is we hinted at it towards the beginning of the video. Just because they signed a deal doesn't mean that they're going to be on the squad at the end of 2020. And I'm talking about Kris Bryant first because I truly think that if the Nationals or the Rangers do not sign Josh Donaldson, they will be trading for Kris Bryant. You can mark it right now. Fuzzy brought it to you first. If that does not happen, Josh Donaldson to the Nationals or the Rangers, one of those two clubs will have Kris Bryant by the end of 2020. But I wanted to bring you the news. Kris Bryant, 1-year deal with the Chicago Cubs. So if you're a Cubs fan, rejoice just a little bit.
Bellinger hammers the ball right center field. Grand slam!
What I like to do.
Into center field deep. DeShields racing back to the wall, leaping up, and can't get it. He cannot make the play, and that ball is gone.
Cody Bellinger and Mookie Betts both made history yesterday. We'll talk about Cody Bellinger first because you can be a multiple-time arbitration player. So if you're a first-time player, if you're a second-time player, a third-time, you can go into arbitration a couple different times. So if you don't have a contract for the next season, you can enter arbitration and avoid that whole going into free agency and the clubs can do it. It's a really weird process in my opinion, but Cody Bellinger set a record for a first-year arbitration player. He signed a one-year deal worth $10.5, maybe $11.5 million. I don't know the exact amount right now. It's been circulating around the MLB community that it is 1 year worth $11.5 million. So considering he's only played 3 seasons, that's a lot of money. And Aaron Judge in his 3rd season made $600,000. And we're going to talk about Aaron Judge in just a second, so don't go anywhere. So not only did Cody Bellinger make history from arbitration, Mookie Betts did as well. He actually surpassed Nolan Arenado. So back in 2019, Nolan Arenado signed, I believe, a $26 million one-year deal with the Colorado Rockies, and Mookie Betts just passed that. He got a whopping $27 million from the Boston Red Sox, so he is going to be on that team for another calendar year unless he gets traded. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Kris Bryant is a whole lot more likely to get traded as opposed to Mookie Betts. So Cody Bellinger is setting records as a first-time arbitration player, and then Mookie Betts, I believe he was in his 2nd time. So he got paid a couple years ago, then he gets paid again, and then after 2020, he will be a full-fledged free agent, and I don't think that there's going to be another arbitration case. No way.
Lindor crunches one to deep left field. Goodbye. That one made it to the 2nd deck.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him to chase a pitch upstairs. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Tied him up inside. And
Francisco Lindor signed a one-year deal worth $17.5 million, which is the 2nd highest for a player entering his 2nd arbitration hearing. So that's really awesome. The fact that Francisco Lindor is going to be the opening day shortstop for the Cleveland Indians. I can finally go to bed and not worry about him getting traded because I truly, genuinely think that he will be on the squad for the rest of 2020. If we lose him in free agency, so be it. That's going to happen. I am just happy that I get 1 more year, or at least a half a year. Maybe they trade him at the All-Star break. He's my favorite player. I'm so happy that he's on the squad. He deserves every single penny, and that's exactly why I said maybe George Springer is kind of asking for too much, because if Francisco Lindor is getting 17.5 and the Astros are offering George Springer 17.5, I mean, that kind of makes sense. So maybe George Springer is going to say, no, I still want my 22, and then they go to a hearing, and then other people are going to have to decide, and then that's just going to be all bad. But thank the baseball gods, the Francisco Lindor saga for 2020 is officially over, at least until the season starts. He's going to be on the squad, as well as Mike Clevenger. He's been involved in a ton of trade rumors as well, to the Dodgers, to the Angels. He's staying with the Indians. He signed a one-year deal worth $4.1 million. In my opinion, $21 million to get an ace in Clevenger and an all-star, one of the best top 5 players in baseball when he's healthy, Francisco Lindor, that's pretty good. So props to the Indians. They kind of did something right.
The Judge. Aaron Judge with his first postseason homer.
This ball is gone.
He hit a line drive bullet to left. A 3-run home run.
Another big-time player is Aaron Judge. He signed a one-year contract because of arbitration worth $8.5 million with his team, the New York Yankees. Can you guys believe that he only made $600,000 in 2019? Now, of course, with endorsements and the fact that he was on the cover of MLB The Show, he's made millions of dollars. Guys, do not have to feel bad for him. He is not being cheated out of money. He has made plenty in his day, but now he's actually getting a huge contract. $8.5 million is a ton of money. He's going to get even more as the years progressed, as he is he's an MVP candidate anytime that he steps on the diamond. I love Aaron Judge. I need to get a jersey ASAP. So if you guys have an extra Aaron Judge jersey, I might open up a PO box. So if you want to send it, cool. If not, I'll go buy one. No big deal. And then the last 2 players I want to bring up real quick, just because I was able to interview them last year and they are honestly just great people. I'm actually going to be working with both of them pretty soon. Joey Gallo signed a $4.4 million contract with the Texas Rangers, and then Trevor Bauer is getting a whopping $17.5 million from the Cincinnati Reds. So again, that just backs up my point that if Francisco Lindor and Trevor Bauer are not even getting $18 million, why does George Springer think that he's going to get 20 plus. So that's going to do for today's video. I hope that you guys learned something new because it's kind of hard to track every single thing. There are a bunch more players that signed through arbitration, but it just wasn't really a huge deal. Like Noah Syndergaard signed a $9.6 million arbitration contract with the New York Mets. So that's awesome. But aside from that, no one really big signed. Jorge Soler, I think, did as well. So you guys might think Jorge Soler is a star. He's good. Just his defense and his batting average. I mean, no one really cares about batting average anymore in 2020. So yeah, that's today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Thank you, baseball gods. Francisco Lindor is going to be an Indian for one more year.